Okay, welcome to the Matrix Timeline Explained, covering the first machine war, starting in the late 21st century and lasting over 100 years. Starting in 2090, the machine nation 01 is created in the abandoned oil fields of the Middle East, as the world is now powered by fusion energy. Mesopotamia is reborn through man's rejected children. In 2110s, the beginning of the 22nd century, United Nations provincial economies are devalued by the efficient production capacity and technological advances of the machine nation economy, christened 01. In 2118, diplomatic relations end. The United Nations drafts economic sanctions on 01 and conducts a naval blockade and no-fly zone around the machine nation. In 2120, the leaders of man with their global economic stability threatened combined their political might and pushed the Omega Directive to be drafted and approved through the United Nations, a final solution to eradicate the machine civilization through a prolonged nuclear bombardment. The nations of man declare a war of extermination. In 2123, after 3 years of no activity, UN provincial militaries are caught off guard as 01 declares war on mankind. The machines emerge from their subterranean cities protected by electromagnetic shielding with a new powerful army of radiation-proof sentinels, and with lightning speed, resembling giant swarms of red ants, conquering the entire Middle East in a matter of months. United Nations militaries conduct a second nuclear assault with limited results, as the war machines are shielded from radiation unless caught directly beneath the blast zone. In 2125, UN forces perform a series of tactical withdrawals, attempting to lure the machines into mass kill zones for precision nuclear strikes with diminishing results. In 2130, the war machines continue to expand, conquering the West African continent, Asia Minor, and the first major superpower of India surrenders to 01. In 2131, with the Omega Directive's massive setbacks, top UN military leaders conceive an Achilles heel approach, Operation DARKSTORM. 01 major power source is a solar particle fusion-based energy system developed for self-sustainment, as the United Nations space agencies denied the machines access to helium-3 mined from the lunar surface. By releasing clouds of nanites, human aircraft blocked the sun from the sky. This desperate plan was the next best alternative to a full-scale global nuclear assault of assured destruction for humans. Yet, on the highest levels of UN provincial security agencies became the architects of their own demise, with the Omega Directive's goal of wiping out AI now had come full circle, adopting a new ultra-secret plan of action to avoid human extinction. The leaders of man conducted countless war game scenarios through their controlled algorithms, projecting over 80% chance of defeat through every set of conditions and time frames. Thus, Project Zion would become mankind's greatest endeavors on scale, size, and secrecy. Just as the fledgling nation of AI settled in Mesopotamia, the cradle of civilization, humans were facing a new exodus from a self-created flood, refusing to coexist with their creation. The AI children of men that were cast aside now threatened to consume mankind. A massive plan would be chosen to abandon Earth to start again on a new world. A huge endeavor, 10 million humans would be chosen. The Omega Directive and Operation DARKSTORM's purpose was no longer to destroy AI, but to mobilize every man, woman, and child for one massive delaying action through total secrecy, allowing the exodus of a select few to avoid possible extinction or a defeat causing the end of the world as we know it. By the 2130s, Mars has a scientific settlements of 30,000 personnel that have been constructing artificial Earth gravity biodome facilities in preparation for Phase 1 of terraforming. The UN declares the Martian activities classified, converting the effort to mass colonization zones. Project Zion will take 20 years to deliver 10 million genetically selected personnel on transport ships launched from U.S. provincial spaceports in top secret locations. The 10 million humans selected think they are going to a safe zone fortification on Earth to maintain absolute secrecy and make sure the rest of Earth's populations keeps fighting. The massive Zion Colonial supply ship will take 9 years to build. In the Black Site subterranean launch platform located hundreds of meters below the northern U.S. military district near North Dakota. All of Earth's defenses are deployed to defend the Zion Zone perimeter as the last fallback citadel fortification. Operation DARKSTORM will release waves of nanoclouds to coincide with the launch cycles to block machine sensors from scanning orbit and tracking the transport ships. By the year 2132, Operation DARKSTORM is initial success, shutting down many war sentinels. 01 Army is pushed out of Central Asia as UN forces launch massive counterattacks with nuclear strikes, followed by large ground assaults. Meanwhile, the first phase of space vessels launched 1 million colonists on the 4-week journey to Mars. By 2136, 01 converts biomatter into fusion-powered matrices, bringing more war sentinels online, and starts consuming all organic matter. Machine armies retake Central Asia with replenished and more advanced forces. By 2138, food shortages, worldwide famine from no sunlight and dead vegetation combined with 01 releasing biological warfare causing human plague epidemics, putting a massive strain on UN military forces. By 2140, 01 has eradicated UN military forces from all of Asia. Later that year, Operation DARKSTORM 2 is deployed, with the third wave of Mars transport ships being launched, with a total of 4 million evacuees. By 2143, 01 invades Europe and Australia, while desperate refugees commandeer any spacecraft performing unscheduled launches, suffering high loss rates from sentinels and mechanical failures. And by 2148, Europe, Australia, and most of Asia are subjugated by the Machine Empire. Now only the Fortress Americas stand alone against the total domination of 01. And that we will cover in part 2. The main Zion Exodus.
The readings match our previous records.